Good afternoon, students. This video is to give you some instruction on how to proceed once you've completed logging all your foods for 3 days on your Diet Study 1. You should have those filled in on the food logs that I provided. And this is a sample that one student sent me with questions on how do I then proceed to enter calories and enter the foods into the correct translation into food groups. So we're going to start from scratch on this and look up calories. Her first item was whole wheat toast. You have several options. Your first best option is to use the food label from that food item and look up the calories on the label. Make sure you're always adjusting for the amount eaten as compared to what they say on the food label is a portion, and adjust the calories to match that. Your second option is to use the appendix in the back of your textbook, which is a very comprehensive table. What you're going to look for there for calories is the column that reads energy. In parentheses below that, it says CAL for calories. Lastly, I gave you a link to this USDA food composition database. This is a very comprehensive database. It's kind of the mother of all databases that most other programs are feeding off of, the apps that you use on your phones, etc. So let's enter the first item, whole wheat bread. We'll pick the closest item that seems to match. And I don't think I selected that properly, so I'm going to enter that again. Okay. Now you want to make sure you go to the unit of measure. For this, we're using per slice. On her food log, she annotated that she ate 2 slices, so we need to change this to read 2. Press enter, and then go down to find the energy row, which is calories. It's 159 calories for 2 slices of bread, and that's what we enter into the food log here. Now let's go to the next item, which is coffee. So click back on food search, enter your item, select the most similar item, make sure it's a matching unit of measure, which this is. 1 cup provides 5 calories. Go to your food log then and enter that for calories. Your next item is Kirkland almond butter. So we could look that up in this database, but I'm going to use the example of using a food label, which I simply looked up on the internet. And here we have it showing that the serving size of 2 tablespoons provides 210 calories. She only ate 1 tablespoon, so we need to divide that 210 calories by 2 to match her serving amount, which gives us 105 calories for 1 tablespoon of almond butter. At the same time, while we have the food label up, we would look at these other items. Added sugars. If you look here, it gives 2 grams of sugar for every 2 tablespoons. She had 1 tablespoon, so she had 1 gram of sugar. The unit of measure here is calories, and you learned it in Unit 1 that there's 4 calories for every gram of sugar. This provides 1 gram of sugar, so it provides 4 calories. Saturated fat, let's see how much this almond butter provides. It shows that for the 2 tablespoon serving, it's 1.5 grams of saturated fat. She had half of that, which is 0.75 grams. I would just round that up to 1 gram. And it's by calories. So there's 9 calories for every gram of fat, 9 times 1. She had 9 calories from saturated fat when she ate this tablespoon of almond butter. Let's look up sodium. This shows 0 milligrams of sodium in this almond butter. That's what we need. Let's next go to rolls. We'll go back to the USDA food database. You click again on food search, enter dinner roll, and let's see what comes up. I'm going to select the first one here. And this is a 2.5-inch roll. She wrote small roll. I would call 2.5 a pretty small roll. So she had 2 small rolls, so we're entering 2. in the quantity column, and then that gives us 215 calories. Those rolls, let's enter that on the food log. You could also take sugars from here if you don't have the food label. For those 2 rolls, she had 3 grams of sugar. 3 grams of sugar giving us 4 calories for every gram would give her 12 calories from sugar in those rolls. If you would like to find saturated fat, you would click on the full report of all nutrients for this item. Again, this is very comprehensive database, so you're going to get every nutrient information. The saturated fat in those rolls, she had about 1.1 grams of saturated fat in the 2 rolls that she ate. So we would round that to 1 gram. Again, she got about 9 calories because there's 9 calories for every from saturated fat. Sodium is a mineral, so if you wanted to look up sodium, we can do that here as well. Go up to the minerals. And those 2 rolls gave her 396 milligrams of sodium. And she could. Now let's go back to find the calories for the raw banana that she ate. And here she gave it in a measure of 1 cup. So you need to make sure you're looking for 1 cup. We'll go with sliced. Most people would eat it that way versus mashed. And it gives us 134 calories. 1 cup sliced. That's what she would eat. Lastly, let's look up her milk to get the calorie amount. Notice when I'm typing in the item, it gives you a drop-down. You can also select your food item in this spot if you prefer. Select Organic Valley. Don't know why it is giving me the item. There we go. So 1 cup of milk gives us 180 calories, but she had 1.5. So we would put 1.5. And that gives 270 calories, which is what she would enter in her food log. Now, your next step is you need to translate these foods into the food groups. Please make sure you're noticing each food group has a unit of measure. This is not necessarily, when we're talking about a protein group, you're not necessarily weighing everything in the protein group. They're using it as a reference value. So you have to use this Choose My Plate website to be able to get the appropriate translations. Let's start with the first item, which is whole wheat toast. Most people know wheat is a grain. So we go to the grain group, and this is your magic table that you need to be using, the ounce equivalent of grains table. Go to where it says breads, 1 regular slice. This is the amount that counts as a 1 ounce equivalent in the grain group. So 1 slice of bread counts as 1 ounce. She had 2 slices of bread, so she had 2 ounces in the grain group when she ate that bread. Notice we didn't go weigh the bread. We're looking for the equivalent within the food group, which is very different. We have another food item here that is from the grain group, and that's the rolls. So let's take a look and see what they have related to rolls. So just looking for your most similar item. Not everything will be spelled out exactly. And I would say that, just sticking with approximately the size of a small biscuit would be the same. So 1 small biscuit would be a 1 ounce equivalent in the grain group, and she had 2. So this would provide 2 ounce equivalent in the grain group. Now we're looking at coffee as her next food item. That doesn't apply to any of the food groups. You may have some added sugars, but depending on how she prepares her coffee, but nothing in the food groups because there's no significant nutrient content to speak of. Now, Kirkland almond butter, you guys may already know this, but that's within the protein group, nuts and seeds, as well as meat. Your magic table again is to go down, go to the protein group link on the Choose My Plate website, and go to the table that says what is the ounce equivalent of protein. It's straight across for meat. You'll notice that 1 ounce of meat counts as 1 ounce in the protein group. But when you get into different foods, it's a little different. 1 egg counts as 1 ounce in the protein group. We're not weighing the egg. It's just an equivalent. Now, when you get to peanut butter or almond butter, 1 tablespoon is the equivalent of 1 ounce in the protein group. She had 1 tablespoon, which is handy. Counts as 1 ounce. All right. Now, banana, we all know that's a fruit. Click into the fruit group. You're going to do the same thing. What counts as a cup of fruit? I gave you the unit of measure at the top of the column. Pay attention to that when you're filling this in. Now, bananas is pretty straightforward because she already measured it in a cup measure. 1 cup of sliced bananas counts as 1 cup of fruit, which makes sense, right? So we're putting that. But you might have had something a little different. She might have listed it as 1 large banana. Then you needed to still look and see what counts as 1 cup of fruit. Well, a large banana counts as 1 cup, but a small banana counts as a half a cup. It'll give you that equivalent, you know, something like grapes. You don't have to measure it in a cup measure. If you know you ate 16 grapes, then it tells you here 16 grapes is the equivalent to 1/2 cup of fruit in the food groups. So that's how you're using this table. Lastly, let's look at milk. Again, milk is a straight across equivalent. It's in the dairy group. Let's go to the table here. And you'll notice that what counts as a cup of milk in the dairy group is, so that's straightforward, right? So let's put the 1 1/2 there. That's an easy one. But what's not as straightforward is something like cheese. If you had 2 ounces of processed cheese, then that counts as 1 cup in the dairy group. You don't have a cup of cheese. If you had a cup of cheese, then it counts differently. So you need to make sure you're using this equivalence table to accurately translate your foods into the food groups. Once those have been translated, then you're going to get out your calculator and you're going to total these columns. Place those numbers within the total row so you can then compare it to what your target intake is. And of course, your target intake is what you pulled down as your My Plate food plan. After you have those in and your totals, you're comparing it and looking for shortages or surpluses. Where did you go under and where did you go over? What's recommended for your daily food plan? And that gives you a feel for how you're doing overall with your food intakes. I hope this helps you in completing your Diet Study 1, but don't hesitate to send me any messages if you have more questions.